What's up guys, it's James here, and in today's video I want to talk about Airbnb's potential rebound for 2021. I want to talk about whether or not I think, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but whether or not I'm going to share with you whether or not I think that Airbnb is going to bounce back in a really big way over the next 6 to 12 months. And if it does, I also want to talk about why I think that might happen and what you can do on your end to be prepared for that. Whether you're hosting your own property on Airbnb or hosting other people's properties on Airbnb, my hope is that this training will be really valuable for you, because if you can have some good foresight on what's to come over the coming months left in the year here, then you can proactively start acting to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. So without further ado, I'm going to start diving right into it. The one thing I want to remind you of before we get right started with the core of this video is that I've got some links down in the description below to some other free trainings that I'd highly recommend you check out, depending on where you're at with your hosting. Now, if you're just getting started and you want to earn a full-time income managing other people's properties on Airbnb, or maybe you've tried your hand at rental arbitrage, or you're already managing some properties and you really want to scale it up and get it to the next level, then I'd highly recommend checking out the free training linked down below in the description for how to earn a full-time income managing properties on Airbnb. That's where we're going to show you how to rapidly grow this business and get to earning a full-time income from Airbnb without having to invest any of your own money into buying or renting or furnishing properties, without having to take any unnecessary risk. So I'd highly recommend you check that out. It's gonna be a really valuable training. We pack it full of all kinds of great strategies and 3 really crucial things that you need to be successful in this business. If, on the other hand, you're just a host yourself, hosting your own property or multiple properties, then I highly recommend checking out the other free training I've got linked in the description down there. That's going to show you exactly how to become a top performing host in your area. We walk through how to do this no matter what is going on in the world right now, 6 months ago, 6 months from now, it's all going to still apply. So I highly recommend checking that out as well. Both of those free trainings come with them some free tools that are going to help you to build your business faster and more effectively. So I'd highly recommend that you check those out as well. Now, let's talk about whether or not I think Airbnb is going to rebound in 2021. And I want to preface this by saying that, as you will know if you've checked out other videos on this channel, Airbnb has actually still been doing exceptionally well over the last 12 months that have previous to now, for people who are prepared. For the people who took the right actions, who were in the right place with the right preparation and took the right steps, we were actually able to do very well, all things considered, over the last 12 months, with some of us actually being able to perform even better than in previous years. So at any time you can really perform quite well, but I think there's going to be a really unique and cool opportunity coming up, because my prediction is that within the next 6 to 12 months, it might take longer than that. Maybe we'll be looking closer to 18, but I would suspect that within the next 6 to 12 months here, we're going to see a huge bounce back in tourism, and we're going to see a huge bounce back in potentially some international tourism. Now, this is a little bit outside of my purview. I don't know when the powers that be might be opening the borders back up for international travel, but my guess is that it's probably going to be within the next 6 to 12 months, and that's going to be a big opportunity. Now, regardless of when that happens, it will be a really big opportunity. And so I personally recommend getting prepared for that to happen at any time. Now, whether it happens in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, your guess is probably just about as good as mine, but I do believe that it's going to happen sometime relatively soon, and that if you're prepared for that, you're going to be able to take advantage of it and really outperform the competition and perform exceptionally well. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to see international travel starting to pick back up, and as such, you're going to be able to steadily increase your rates on Airbnb. I think there's still going to be a good amount of domestic tourism happening, which normally I think we're actually going to have a larger amount, in my estimation, of domestic travel than we normally would, because I think a lot of people do want to get out and away from the city still, and that's a trend that we've seen, that we've actually witnessed. We've seen the data behind it. There's a lot of tourism going to areas outside of major cities, from those major cities, people that are wanting to get outside the city and to have a little staycation. And so I think that trend is going to persist through 2021 with the potential introduction of some international travel. We're already seeing in some countries that the borders are opening up. So depending on where you are right now, you might actually already be seeing an increase in international tourism compared to what we would have seen last year. Now, with that being said, there's an opportunity there, and there's some actions you need to take as a host or as a property manager in order to make sure that you actually optimize and take advantage fully of the opportunity that's there. So what I mean by that is that as we start to see more international guests, you're going to need to stay on top of your pricing updates. You want to make sure that your prices are dialed in, because what can often happen if hosts don't really know what they're doing and aren't prepared is that they have their prices set too low. Suddenly when there's an influx of new bookings, their whole calendar gets filled up with bookings that are highly undervalued. So if you have all your nights set at $100 a night, you might just within a couple short days get all those nights booked up, only to realize a little bit later that you could have set your prices twice as high or 50% higher and still gotten those same days booked up. So you're leaving a whole bunch of money on the table without even knowing it. For that reason, it's really, really important whenever the time comes that we're starting to see more bookings trickle into the calendar than we would expect. It's really going to be important to stay on top of that and to make sure that you don't let those undervalued bookings get in too much of a volume, and just make sure that you're going in and updating your prices and increasing them as the market allows for it. So that's one big aspect of what you're going to need to do. The other one is going to be updating and adjusting your listing, similar to what we did when everything first changed, moving from 2019 to 2020. Now, a lot of people that experienced really poor results in 2020 are the ones that lagged behind, that didn't update their listing quickly to reflect the new type of guest that was staying at their properties. They were still optimizing their listing for the old guests that were traveling. So, the typical international travelers that were traveling in and wanted to be close to all the attractions. Well, that's not as important in 2020. And so now if you're performing well, good chances are you've optimized your listing around domestic travelers and the reasons that they would want to book your place over others. That's going to work for the time being. But once we start getting more of a mix of international travel coming back in, you're going to want to readjust your listing back to closer to the way that it was. And if you're able to optimize in the interim period there for both domestic travelers and international travelers, then you're going to be well ahead of the pack. So by keeping your listing dialed in, keeping a pulse on who exactly is staying at your listing and why, and what the things are that are important to them when they're selecting a listing to stay at, then you're going to want to update your listing to reflect that, to make sure that it's the most attractive listing to them when they're searching for a place to stay. And you're going to be able to capitalize even further on the additional revenue potential that is out there in the market. So is Airbnb going to rebound in 2021? I don't fully know. That being said, it is doing well still right now, and there's a good chance that within the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to see a huge boost in potential bookings, and it's up to you to be prepared and be in the right position to really take advantage of that. Now, if you want more of the actual step-by-step tactics for exactly how to do that, then I highly recommend checking out the links down below that reference the free trainings. So you can go check out those free trainings, sign up, select the time, and get yourself in there. Now, another thing I'll add is that right now is probably one of the best times ever to be earning an income and building your business managing properties from Airbnb. Now, the reason I say that is because right now we're in a bit of a lull with a huge opportunity on the horizon. And so there's a huge amount of growth happening for property managers right now. I'm seeing a lot more people reach out to me asking for people to manage their property because a lot of people are struggling right now. So they need professional help to manage their properties more effectively. And so not only on the one hand does that make it easy for you to pick up properties and grow your business, but also we're seeing a huge amount of potential upside for those properties right now and in the foreseeable future. In the short-term, near-term future, there's going to be a big upswing. So if you get to 5, 10 properties under management, you could quickly double your income overnight once things start to pick back up. So right now is a tremendous time to be growing that type of business as well. I highly recommend you check out the link down below to the free training that'll walk you through step-by-step exactly how to grow this business. It shows all the strategies that I use as well as the strategies that hundreds of my students use with tremendous success and consistent results all over the world. So I highly recommend you check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.